All right, everybody, welcome on into tonight's space. Gonna be having a fun one here, talking Squid Grow and Karate Combat, the upcoming Consensus Conference. We've got a lot that's going on. I believe we are going to have a couple of the fighters that'll be joining us on stage tonight, so I'm definitely looking forward to getting into it. How you doing, Chib?
Hey, how's it going, buddy? I'm doing well. I'm just looking for some of the team. I see Ross here, so I'm going to try to get him up with my
Perfect.
co-hosting powers
Oh
that
yeah,
I
the
possess.
powers that have been bestowed upon you.
Let me figure this out. I don't know where he
No
went.
problem. No problem, no problem. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out. I believe I see we got the Squid Grow account on stage. Let me go ahead and drop you co-host. And then other folks, if you are supposed to be a speaker, go ahead and request up. I do see Ross. There he is. I got him up.
There he is. I was
Perfect.
having technical difficulties of trying to figure it out.
Yeah, no worries, man. Uh, I kind of live on spaces, so I feel like I've broken through the technical difficulties here and there and been able to make things happen. But I feel like we're looking pretty good here. I see Wolf Whip 3 coming in. If you want to jump up on stage, I see we got Ellie in the crowd as well.
Yep, bring her up, please.
Oh yeah, already shot an invite. Here we go. Okay, if you're coming into the space now, please do retweet the room so we can get this pop in for our speakers. We're gonna be looking forward to a good night. Shit, when are you heading down to Austin?
I'll keep the dates a little tight to my chest, but I'll be there in time for all the festivities.
There you go. Sounds good. Sounds good. Coming down with the whole entourage.
Absolutely. Core team's coming, my security's coming, obviously, and I'm expecting a good turnout. We've got the Secret Network event kicking off on the 28th, and then yeah, it's all karate combat stuff and consensus.
Yeah, I'm excited. Karate Combat, is that going to be on the 29th? When is that going to end up being?
The well, actually, you know what? I'll allow one of the fighters to actually speak on that, so I don't murder the dates.
Okay, perfect. Well, good to see we have them up here. Let's check to make sure the mics are working. Ross, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now. We got you now. It's a little
Okay.
broken up there, but I think you're coming through. You're coming through better now. Looking jacked
Okay,
in the
cool.
profile pic, my guy. Looking forward to this one.
Thank you, man. I'm trying my best. Trying my best.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Ellie, welcome to the stage. What's going on?
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, sorry, my voice is a little bit gone, so it's not technical difficulties.
I was gonna say, hey, we're rugging already. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
Yeah,
well, good to have you up. I assume it's because you're putting in all the training effort. It's from the hiyas from the kicks. Is
that's
that what's
exactly
happening?
what it's from. Yeah, no, I
Okay.
think I've just run my body to the ground and I just flew into Austin yesterday, so the weather change and everything else has not been friendly to me.
Oh man. Well, hopefully they'll give you the old NFL booster shot in the back there, and we can get
Don't
rolling.
take it. Don't take
I'm
it.
kidding.
Don't
I'm
do it.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
Don't worry,
kidding.
she'll feel even worse when she gets her butt handed to her by someone who's under the weather.
That's right.
Hey.
That's
Wow.
right. So speaking of, before we get too far ahead, I do want to just kind of introduce the fighters that are up here. So we got Ellie, who was just speaking, and as far as like the events that I believe she's in the influencer category, but Ellie, I'd like to give you a second to kind of talk about, a little bit about your background, the charity that you're raising for, and I believe your NFT collection still open as well, right? I just kind of want to give you the stage and give everybody the opportunity to kind of learn a little more about you and the nonprofit that you're raising for. I thought that was a very honorable thing.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Pardon me, sorry. So I guess a little bit about myself is I live out in Thailand. I've been there for over 5 years. I've got a bit of a fighting history background. I've had 14 fights, 12 wins, and 9 KOs, and hoping to have another one. This will be my first MMA fight though, so I'm excited to go into some new territories, but I'm feeling pretty good and confident. Um, For the charity, so I work hands-on with an organization called Bandoi, and it is an organization and an orphanage in northern Thailand that works on, uh, rescuing children who have been or who are at the highest risk of sex trafficking. Seeing as Thailand is the number one country in Asia for human trafficking, and they're up by the border where most of this uh, by Myanmar, Laos, and Thailand, where this all most of the activity goes on. And they take the children and they teach them, a bunch of different life skills, agriculture, math, science, cooking, all of these things that can break the cycle of human trafficking. Because the reason of this is that a lot of them are very underprivileged, and that is kind of the only thing that they have to be able to support their families. So they provide these skills. These kids sometimes get sponsorships to different schools in different countries. The what this organization does is absolutely insane, and I've been so grateful to be able to experience it firsthand, watch kids grow up, and seen the effects that it has on both them and the surrounding communities. So Karate Combat has been absolutely fantastic and has allowed me to use this platform to speak upon and represent them. And so what I'm doing here is for the Fight Night shirt. When I walk out, I have a current auction happening where we have NFTs that are made by Mike Miller that Shibtoshi has been so lovely to introduce me to. He's done the DC Comics, some of the DC Comics, and Marvel and Game of Thrones, so he's pretty well known. And he's created these really cute, lovable lures into some pretty famous fighters. I think we had Rousey sold for, I don't know, 6 ETH, I think, or not ETH, Soul. And then we had
I was like, holy cow.
sorry. No, they had who was the second one? Bruce Lee. He sold for 28 Soul, and then we've got the last one sold for I think 5 Soul, and then we've got our last spot that will happen right now, and it ends in 4 hours. So yeah, that's what we're looking forward to. And then for anybody who doesn't want to bid on the shirt, there is a community round that's going on as well that will happen until a day after the fight, so the 31st. And there you can purchase one of the NFTs, and 100% of the profits go directly back to Bandoi. So sorry to take 20 minutes to explain that.
No, you killed it. Anybody that's not seen the art, you go to Ellie's page. She's done a couple posts. I've retweeted a couple things. It's for a very good cause, and I would urge everybody to kind of look into it.
Love it. Thanks so much for sharing with us, Ellie. Ross, do you want to jump into the mix? Quick intro as well, what you're excited to be fighting for here?
Yeah, I appreciate the platform again. That is certainly very hard to follow. That's absolutely amazing, Ellie. That's super cool work that you're doing. So shout out to you for that, and good luck. I'm looking forward to meeting you and watching you do your thing in the pit. Yeah, I mean, my name's Ross Levine. I'm the current middleweight world champion for Karate Combat. I'll be fighting for my 3rd world title at this event, May 30th. And yeah, I'm just, I'm super excited to get back and do what I've been doing, what I'm good at. And yeah, man, I'm not really fighting for anything in particular other than my contract.
Glory.
So
You're fighting for glory.
A contracted killer. But I'm very, very excited and very grateful to be repping Squid Grow throughout this process. So again, thank you guys for not only the platform but all the help as well. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for that, and looking forward to meeting the entire crew.
Boom. Well put there. Shintoshi, what are you looking forward to most, and what got you involved with Karate Combat?
So, we've been talking to Karate Combat for some time. Been in a group with them, and just kind of flirted with the idea of getting involved. And the way for this particular Texas event, the way it kind of played out is we were a little late to trying to, obviously organizing um, Consensus, and we just started looking for other options, and we struck up the conversation again with Karate Combat, and you know some one of the takeaways with Consensus is like when we like to do events, like we like to be like the top sponsors, the platinum sponsors, and Consensus couldn't offer us that because the title sponsor was sold in December. So we spoke to Karate Combat, and they were pretty much booked up. Then we talked about kind of the sponsorship package that I'm looking for as far as dollar value, and they constructed a custom package for us. And I really feel that it's it's bringing my project in front and center of another audience. So it's good for the community, it's good for the project, it's good content, and I think it's going to be entertaining as hell. You know, I've never been to like a crypto, you know, uh, fight event before where like influencers in crypto are fighting. Obviously, Ross is the exception to that, but some of the other fighters, are in the crypto space and influencers, but it just kind of just fell on our lap. And then after we achieved our platinum sponsorship, I think they're calling it, I started looking a little further, and I wanted to give my community um, somebody to cheer for, right? Right? Win, lose, draw, whatever it is, it's going to be extremely entertaining. And we put our feelers out there, and first fighter we were introduced to was Ellie. And doing some due diligence into her, I saw what she was fighting for, and that resonated with me. So we struck up a conversation, and essentially here we are. And then I believe the second fighter we locked in was Jay Chains. He's still currently traveling to Texas, so he may or may not be able to jump on. But we were able to get that locked in, and then finally Ross. And I think that we're going to be well represented in the ring. We're going to give the community and all of the audience some good entertainment, and I think it's going to be a good trip. So
Yeah, I think this is a super exciting trip, and I'm also really excited. It's gonna be, I believe, the first in-person fighting event that I'll attend. I'm a huge UFC fan. I really do enjoy fighting. I'll watch some boxing here and there as well. Real quick for the fighters, I think it'd be helpful for people to understand a little bit more. It's called Karate Combat, but it's kind of unique and special rules for this. So I do want to give, Ellie, maybe just a second to explain to people what is this event going to be like? What is your envisionment of it, right? What's the aura? What's the crowd like here? What's Squid Grow getting themselves into?
Oh man, I feel like you should be asking the person who's fought here before.
We can get Ross to chip in as well, but I wanted to hear your perspective kind of going into it for the first time.
I don't know. I think it's got it's got a massive crowd, and there's going to be a lot of people watching, which is going to be super exciting. The fact that it's got that crypto twist to it makes it even more thrilling as well. As a first time getting into something this big, obviously it's a little bit nerve wracking, but I have no doubt once that first hit and the adrenaline comes in, it's just going to be like every other fight. um, I don't know. I guess that's my angle of it.
So
what I can say
yeah,
about
please.
Ellie, if anybody's seen her sparring videos, she's got some pretty hard hitting kicks from the sounds of it. So I think those are leg numbing kicks, and I think it's going to be a great show. I mean, she can obviously handle herself, and she says she's being humble. She says she might be a little nervous. I can commend that, but she's got this. I mean, she's been training for it. I mean, everything that I've seen, she's got this in the bag, and she's a great person. She's got a great heart, and I think that we're very lucky to have crossed paths, and I think that the community, um, you know, leading up to the fights are going to grow attached to her. Kind of give them somebody to cheer for in the during the event. So yeah, that's kind of my little ramble about it.
Oh, thank you so much. I like his better than my answer.
All right, I'll double back to you in a second, but you did say let's hear from someone who's been there and is a champion as well. Ross, talk to us about the environment at these fights. We've got, I'm sure, a lot of people in the crowd. I'm excited to be there in person. What can people be looking forward to? What do you like to see from the crowd?
Yeah, so first of all, I mean, I know you mentioned that you're like a big UFC fan and you'll watch boxing, but this is your first live show, so you're really in for a treat, and it's actually going to spoil you quite a bit if you decide to go to other events too. So if you were to picture what you typically see when you watch a fighting event, right? You see the cage or the ring, and then it's stands, right? So you're in the stands, you're very separated, you're kind of far away from the action. With the pit, you can see every single seat directly sees into the pit. So it has this very tight, very like intimate underground feel. There's just something very primal about it, and the crowd gets really into it. The crowd gets super involved. It's going to be loud. It's going to be kind of rambunctious. It is not like prim and proper, which is kind of a good thing. Like some people would be like, "Oh, I don't really like that," but in a fighting environment, it really makes it exciting, and it gets the fighters going. You know, that everybody is so close and kind of packed in that it just makes for a really sweet, very very cool environment. I think Karate Combat's main goal is, you know, they want to put on super exciting fights with really talented, explosive fighters, and they want to have a party while they're doing it. And every single event turns out to be just that. It's absolute mayhem when it comes to the fights, and then there's always some entertaining stuff happening around the fights as well. So, I mean, I love when the crowd gets into it. I feed off of that. You'll see that in the actual pro card. And even the influencers, if you guys watched back and saw like the first influencer fight card in Mexico City, people were going nuts. So it doesn't matter if the fights are, you know, low level, high level, championship quality. There's really no way around being super excited for it. So you're really in for a treat if this is your first time seeing a live fighting event.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I like what Ellie was saying, right? It's that first punch. I think people really start to engage. Ross, sometimes people watch fights, and there is such a big difference between a boxing and a UFC. For me, a UFC is just so much more fast paced, brutal, things like that. I think it does draw people in. Where does Karate Combat fall into the spectrum here of how fast paced it is, how technical it is? What's the strategy?
So the rule set is really what makes Karate Combat super different from any other fighting organization. And one of the things that the people behind Karate Combat have been really trying to do is build literally the most exciting rule set. So most like common knowledge fans will watch the UFC, and if they don't understand jujitsu or grappling or wrestling, they get kind of bored. And you'll even hear people that pay good money to go to these events, they start booing when there's things happening against the pit, against the cage and the clinch, or when it hits the ground, they're like standing back up. So you know, with Karate Combat, it's built around pure action. Anytime there's a lull in the action, although there is ground and pound, if it stops or there's like a little bit of a delay, the referee stands you right back up and you got to get back to work. So there's really very minimal breaks in time when you're watching the fight and nothing's happening. You actually get penalized for being passive in the fight. So the entire goal is you have to move forward. The scoring criteria is based on aggression, and damage is the number one criteria to do well in the fight. So it encourages the fighters to move forward. The other big thing that a lot of people don't actually know is for the pro contracts, our pay is built around how we succeed. So, you know, if I win a decision, I make less money versus if I get a TKO, like a technical knockout, I get a little bit more. And then if I knock someone out cold, I get even more. So there's a lot of incentive to make some crazy, wild action, and that's why people love Karate Combat.
And just to confirm as well, you are getting paid based on if you win, how you win, and also how many people bet on these fights, right?
Yes, so that the up only gaming is like a whole nother extra added piece to it. So yes, they have the karate app where you can use your karate token to bet on the fighters, and then based on the total pool, a percentage of that goes to it goes back to the player, but we also get a piece of that as well as a bonus. So when I fight and win, if a ton of people bet on me and I win, I get a percentage of that pool money as well in karate tokens. So it's a really cool extra added incentive that number one, it forces me to build a fan base that people want to root for me and cheer for me and bet their token on me. And then in return, it pays me back. So it's pretty sweet.
That's super fun. Action, was your hand up first there?
Yeah, I mean, I just gotta say Ross is dead on with all this stuff, man. And like I am privileged to not get hurt and still get to enjoy all these fights. It is something else. Like if you like UFC, you're in for a treat because UFC, they let things go way too long when it comes to grappling and groundwork. Like that's not what this is about. Like we want knockouts. Like that's what the rule set around this thing is. It's we want to see knockouts. And I see only LARPing in the audience. What's up, brother? He's actually one of the co-founders of Karate Combat.
We need to get him up here actually. If he's
I
in here.
know. I messaged him and he showed up. I love it.
All right, yeah, let's get him on here.
Yeah, like you're in for a treat. Like honestly, like I pretty like you can have fluids splash on you like as close as you are. Like you are literally on the side of the pit. It is amazing. Like nothing, you just can't explain it. And again, like I've had the privilege of being at multiple ones of these, both
Is this because you're
stateside.
VIP Action? How easy is it gonna be for me to get side of the pit? I feel like you know everybody, so you get all cuddled up in there.
You don't. Well, I'm about to introduce you to Only LARPing right now, so you'll be all right.
All right. Whoever I gotta know to get up and close, let me know.
But honestly, that's
right.
the beauty. And hi, everyone. I'm just sorry
We'll
to
go for
jump
Kate
in,
on
but that's honestly the beauty. Like, even if you don't have VIP, even if you don't have pit side, you're still going to be in a very intimate environment. It's still very, it feels very like a close knit community, and you still see all the action because of the way their pit is set up. Because I used to be a big UFC fan as well, and I've gone to a lot of UFC fights. I used to drive all the way to Vegas just to go to a fight. But you're all the way in the back, in the top bleachers, and there's this cage around that you don't see any details. So even if you don't have VIP, Karate Combat is still made in a way that's going to make you feel like you're part of the experience.
That's super fun. All right, Wendy O is on the stage.
And she's fighting next, right, Wendy?
Appreciation.
What am I doing?
Wendy's putting up fists.
I don't compete because I learned to box for a different reason. I was raised in a kung fu studio, but I'm very much an enjoyer of all martial arts. But I did hear that at the Karate Combat Poker event that they might be doing some sort of special influencer fight with no kicks, and that's totally my get down. But anyways, I'm happy to be here. I am going to be in and out, so if you guys want to drop me down and add somebody else up, that's totally fine. I'll be listening to the space. But I'm super excited for the event. Super excited to see Squid Grow as one of the platinum sponsors, to watch all of the IFC fights, and of course the Karate Combat fights. I'm excited. It's one of my favorite sporting events ever.
Love it. Wendy standing on business, as the kids say. Good to have you in here.
And Gav, real quick,
all right.
Only LARPing is back. He left and came back because he wasn't able to connect.
I've been just spamming him with invites. So one of them is.
I'm doing the same.
Don't worry.
I see that Kayla has her hand up. Kayla is actually going to be one of our guests as well. She is involved in the Secret Network event that we're sponsoring in Texas. So, hey, how's it going?
Yes, thank you so much for saying that because I'm really excited to meet people who care about privacy. But I'm also just always excited to connect with people who have like this passion for learn to earn and just like, owning part of what you do. It's never occurred to me that the fighters don't get a piece of the pie like if they're bet on. So if someone's betting a ton of money on you in real boxing, they don't get or fighting, they don't get that money. Of course not. Like that makes sense now that you said it out loud. But like, is that a big part of this sell? Because that's shocking to hear as like somebody who's not really in fighting. Like I never would have thought about it. It never would have occurred to me. But if you bet a ton of money on Ross should get some of that money, right? So that's a really interesting like way to look at this. How did you guys decide that? Was it just kind of like the love of learn to earn in fighting?
LARPing, we need you on stage, my friend. Where are you at?
I will say that when I first got on a call with Karate Combat, that was one of the first things that I asked them because I've known fighters and I'm very much for the underdogs. And that was the first thing that I asked him.
Well, because if you're betting on somebody who's an underdog, right, and there's an incentive to get that money, they're probably going to fight a little harder.
All right, I got my karate combat hat on, literally. And yes, only LARPing. Nobody can hear you. Yeah, you can keep trying again. But here's the thing. Like, we say that only LARPing is the co-founder, and that's very specific. We never say that he's the owner of this thing, because we are the owners, right? Like, this is essentially decentralization at its best. We're allowing people to go ahead and purchase or even win Karate Combat tokens. So if you sign up right now for the app, you get 88 tokens for free. And then there's a bunch of things happening, and you can just keep betting that 88 and make more and more and more. That's the beauty of this. Like, there's no risk when it comes to losing tokens. The token price, yes, goes up and down. It's actually really low right now. I just bought some, but it's one of those things, like, you're gonna make more tokens if you bet. I mean, if you pick Ross or Ellie or one of the cool kids like that, that's what it boils down to. So at its core, it's just about decentralization. I mean, they are doing something incredible for the space as a whole. Oh, he's up,
Hey
he's
guys,
up, he's up.
can you hear
Let's
me now?
go.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Oh, finally. You let me up like 3 times and nobody could hear me. It was pretty frustrating. Well, thanks for having me on. Thanks for shooting me all the messages. What's up, Ross? What's up, Shitoshi? We got Wendy. Looks like probably Tina behind the Squid Grow. Ellie. What a space, huh?
Hey, what's going
Very
on, brother?
cool.
Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Sounds like everybody's psyched, huh?
Yeah, we're definitely hyped, and I think that we're really appreciative of you coming to the stage. I would love to hear a little bit from you as to, why this is all happening, what your vision is for it, where you're hoping it's going in the future, everything that's going on with Squid Grow. I mean, there's so many thoughts here.
Oh, geez, where to start? So on the sports side of things, there's a bunch of different ways to look at it and see it, but I mean, I think there's room for like a UFC of striking, and that's like, what I want Karate Combat to be. I think we built a super mainstream format, and now it's, the tough job of, you know, building 1 billion fans around the world. Um, everything we did in Web3 was to try and accelerate that process. Karate Combat's got great awareness, but turning all that awareness into like true super fandom, people who will die for the sport, um, that's hard. A lot of times in sports that can take generations. Like, dad passing it down to his son and daughter, or hundreds of millions of dollars of capital. But we think with our demographic of fans, there may be a shortcut by financializing things a little bit, because if you talk to, our demographic of fans, mostly young males, a lot of them now will say that they don't really enjoy watching sports unless they have a bet on it. Um, so the dream was to get a little financial upside on every fight to every one of our fans. So you get them researching the fighters ahead of time, learning their names, their backgrounds, their styles, getting that emotional ball rolling downhill. So they really care about who's going to win. And then, of course, during the event, if you got some financial upside on it, you care so much more about the outcome than if you don't. And so that was the dream for Up on the Gaming. That's why we created the karate token. We went all the way with it because we've been in crypto for a really long time and we're super comfortable with it. Um, but yeah, that's where it all came from. Um,
Super cool. Yeah,
Yeah, and
go for
then
it.
the second question, we've got this huge collab with Squid Grow. Really excited about it. They're going to be all over the pit in the virtual background, and probably, pull Shintoshi into some pretty cool things throughout the week. It's going to be a lot of fun, and obviously, y'all have a huge crowd coming to the event. I'm sure you're going to be super loud and hyped. Some incredible fights. Ross defending his title. Super excited to see Ellie get into the pit. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Squid Grow's going to Mars.
He's going to Mars, and the whole project is going to Mars.
Shib, you got any other thoughts, questions you want to throw at only LARPing while we have him up here before we go to some of these hands?
No. I'll open it up to everybody. LARPing and I have spoke pretty in depth. I'm not sure, what anybody listening would want to ask him, but I'm just super excited to have the opportunity to be involved at the level that we are. I think it's going to be a good event, and looking forward to working more closely together in the future as well.
Sweet. Let's go over to some of these hands. Nix, what's on
Hey,
your mind?
I'll cut in. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, or Charles, go for it.
Okay, cool beans. Yeah, only I was going to ask you. So I know, you're definitely going an uphill battle, but this is a cool battle to take on some of the combat sports. So I'm interested as far as like metrics, data, and analytics. I'm kind of a sucker for the data. What is like traditional viewership for UFC? And then what is like traditional viewership for like karate combat and like month over month, year over year? How have you seen increase? And I guess like not to make it too minutia or like detailed, but what have you seen really move the needle as far as viewership? Like you're like this, if we put a little bit of energy into this, it gives me 5%. But when we put energy into this, we're seeing like large upsides in comparison to, other things that you can invest time into.
Sorry, my 3-year-old busted into my office while you're asking a question. He's having an absolute meltdown. Hold on one sec.
Take your time, no
No, you're
worries.
fine. No big deal.
I'm back. I got a bunch of little kids, and the middle one really doesn't like to go to bed on time. So one interesting thing is Karate Combat has a very unique distribution model. So most sports that everyone's familiar with are locked into long-term distribution contracts, usually behind some sort of paywall, if not pay-per-view, then at a minimum, cable TV. And we went an alternate route. We believe that with our demo of young, fans, it's really important to keep the content free for as long as humanly possible. It's allowed us to grow really quickly. So our viewership can be quite large because we're simultaneously distributing the events on linear TV with great partners around the world, on our own site, karate.com. UFC Fight Pass just signed us up for the whole year, but then also, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Kick. On TikTok, a lot of times we'll even do like a separate vertical stream. And then more recently, we started teaming up with some of the biggest streamers in the world who broadcast it out on their own channels in their own languages. I'm sure there's some people in the room even that might be streaming the events, either pit side or remotely. This event is co-streamed on, I don't know, 3 or 4 different channels, including Bankless. So our viewership per event can get quite high. We actually had 49 million views at our event in Dubai. That was definitely a record. I'm not sure if I know the UFC's metrics off the top of my head, to be completely honest. Yeah, I would say in terms of awareness, in terms of a sport, I don't know, we're somewhere between, 1 to 5% of the size of the UFC at this point, realistically. But that's actually quite large because the UFC is a fucking monster now.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's been going a long time, and they've had a lot of like even like adjacent media plays a lot into like what you're doing in the main fights themselves, like fighting like having like where they're doing the coaching sessions, showing that thing, and then a lot of times the fighters become their own influencing agency, which is also a whole nother vertical in and of itself, where the fighters are becoming streaming all that stuff, and now you've got like it's just pulling everything into this massive swatch. So no, that's killer. Thank you so much for the data.
Yeah.
Nix, you want to jump into the convo?
Yeah, definitely. I have to say this is my third space with Squid Grow, and I just love you guys like more and more every time I'm on a space with y'all. So this is exciting to me. I didn't really get to research Karate Combat before today, but I sort of feel like I'm so excited when things integrate together. Like, as somebody who's a little bit of a fan of gambling, aka poker, and then also an OG gamer, like the mention about how you guys are sort of like utilizing AR and VR or like the Unreal Engine 5 in the background and sort of like creating this immersive experience for people. But then like also, I also come from a multi-generational martial arts family. starting with like Eskrima, and then we didn't have any of that stuff where I'm at. And so my brother and I were trying to like diversify and sort of like get back to our roots and learn all of the martial arts styles and all of that stuff. I feel like if my brother could come here and we could go down here and go to karate combat together, it would be like reliving like a lot of the loves of our childhood. So, so thank you for that, for inventing, this for, I think, people like me. But I guess my question really is, if maybe you could speak a little bit more on just sort of the immersive experience that you're creating around, just the arena, sort of, because that is
Sure.
something I saw on YouTube, and I was like, whoa, what is this? Like, this is crazy. I feel like I just stepped into a game. This is amazing.
Yeah. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make every single event look like a unique level in, one of those fighting video games we all played growing up, whether it's Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, or Tekken. So that's the goal, whether we do it um, in a film studio or convention center, with the VFX background behind it, or if we're on some like outstanding real world location. 7 weeks ago, we were literally on the beach in Playa del Carmen. It had to be one of the most beautiful fight sport events ever filmed, in my opinion. Last September, we were at this replica Roman amphitheater down in the Dominican Republic. But yeah, so either way, we're trying to make it look like a video game level. It's a little bit different if you're actually there, though. When you're there, it feels like an underground Fight Club vibe. And honestly, a lot of people have told me attending Karate Combat is like the best live sporting event they've ever been to, because you're just so close to the pit. There's nothing between you and the fighters. The whole event moves fast, tons of knockouts. People have an absolute blast. I myself don't get to enjoy it quite as much because I'm nervous as hell. Um, but yeah, it's so much fun in person. And by the way, the way the VFX works, um, it is a little bit of magic. So we create these 3D worlds in Unreal Engine, and then we use really, really precise camera tracking. So there's no green screen anymore, and there's no like LED panels. So if you're there, you don't see it at all unless you look at the TV on the wall or down at your phone. Um, but the cameras that are tracked, the server that's rendering the world on the background, um, that server knows exactly which part of the virtual environment the camera is pointing at. Um, so it's pretty cool.
And that sounds amazing. And also something that you said earlier that really resonated with me is I don't have a really hard time, but I do a little bit getting into UFC fighting. I remember, my younger years, we'd meet up at the bar, like share a pizza and like try to watch it. And I'm just over there hanging out with people, but I couldn't really get into it. But the way that you're sort of describing this, I just feel like the action was really the missing thing for me, because I just loved watching like some of the old Japanese movies, or just watching how people, the power in it. I don't know. I don't know like how to explain why. Like I almost feel a little shameful of like being like, oh no, I like violence. No, I don't. It's very like I see it as a sport. I hope everybody I hope everybody does.
Yeah.
But I think that it's amazing, also about just how you've sort of incorporated like all of these loves. And I can't wait to see like how I'm in marketing, and so I can't wait to see like how you guys are branching out into different demographics and different groups, and like reaching different audiences among like Web3 and like fighting communities, and where you're going. So I'm so interested in hearing about that, if you don't mind sharing.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's trial and error, to be honest. We try I mean, we try everything you can think of. I'd say one of the marketing, although it's like product-led marketing, that really seems to have worked within Web3, and it's not that surprising when you think about it, really are these kind of influencer founder fights. Um, they kind of immediately they have like a real power to capture a lot of awareness and bring a lot of eyeballs to the sport that we've built. Um, people really relate to fights when they know the person fighting at a very deep level. And followers really feel like they know the influencers that are in the pit. And so that kind of influencer angle seems to have worked extraordinarily well from a marketing perspective.
Well, because this is the crypto space, we have a lot of keyboard warriors, so I'm glad that you guys finally gave him a pit to take it actually to the pit.
Yeah, I'm pretty psyched about the influencer fights that we have on this card. Um, 2 female fights, including Ellie, and all 4 of the fighters there have a decent to a lot of training. And then you got a headline fight between Nick Carter and David Hoffman, and those guys have been training like crazy. So I think I think it's going to be a full night of incredible entertainment from beginning to end.
Larby, you mentioned the influencer fights. Like, I know that the first time around, like, was this a surprise as far as the viewership that came out to, like, because it was a little bit of a break, and then we went into the influencer fights, and I saw the streams, and they were just hot. Like, there were just so many people on there.
I wouldn't say the viewership was so much of a surprise, but the quality, like the entertainment value of the fights, was a pleasant surprise. Honestly, we had no idea what to expect. It could have looked really, really bad. But instead, I think that pretty much everybody got a kick out of it. I mean, Boss stopped announcing and started filming it. Um, I think Charles Oliveira was like filming it with his phone. Um, and yeah, so I think I actually feel like we did build a pretty interesting influencer fighting mousetrap. Normally, these guys and women are fighting with big 12-ounce gloves. Really hard to knock someone out with 12-ounce gloves if you're not, you know, extremely experienced. It's also very easy to cover up your head. Um, I think the smaller gloves are, an entertaining twist on influencer fights. You gas out. Um, less quickly, and you have the chance to actually knock somebody out. And it's also pretty entertaining to see people try and throw and kick each other a little bit. But yeah, I feel like that worked really well, at least within the Web3 space, to bring eyes to the real sport that we built.
Only Larkin, if I can just add one little thing to that too,
Yeah,
is when it doesn't matter what sport you're at. If you're at a basketball game, if you're at a soccer event, a football event, whatever it might be, you could be watching the sport at hand that you paid to go see, and then if a fight breaks out in the stands, you're watching the fight. You
yeah,
know what I mean? So it
yeah,
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's 2 drunk guys who have never fought before in their lives, or
yeah,
influencers, or world champions. Fighting is just freaking exciting,
yeah,
and there's just something about it that you can't, even Nick, like even you were saying, like, yeah, I like violence, but I don't. I want to be. It's sport, but there's just something about combat sports and fighting that gets people going and gets them riled up and having fun. So I think what you were just talking about, like bringing the influencers on, is going to bring a ton of eyes that maybe they didn't know that they liked combat sports, and now it's like, holy shit, this is
yeah.
incredible, and now you're going to start following even more. So I love it. I think it's a great idea, and yeah, it just draws people in.
That's
Hey,
it's great to hear.
LARPing, real quick, real,
It's
real quick.
up.
Sorry
Well, before you sorry, sorry, but it's great to hear one of our champions say that. Ross has been fighting and training for what, at least 20 years, Ross. And, there's some concern sometimes that, you know, having influencers up there could even be like disrespectful. So there's nothing that makes me more happy to hear that you're down for it. But sorry, go ahead, Satoshi.
Hey, I just had a quick question from the
Yeah.
community in our chat. How can somebody find tickets to Karate Combat, and what do they cost?
Yes, they're available on Consensus's website. Um, they are retailing for $200 each. I do think that Consensus is going to open up a brief window for badge holders of Consensus to grab tickets if they're fast enough. So they're
They did
yeah.
today, yeah.
So So I think right now you can actually, if you already have a consensus badge, you can go on there and RSVP. You would want to do that really quickly though, because those won't be up there for very long.
Yeah, that's the message that I was given. I had someone keep an eye out, and then they messaged me. But yeah, I grabbed a couple this morning. What's up, Toki?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's a pleasure to be up here. Pleasure to be in another Squid Grow space as well. Always interesting to see what you guys are up to, especially as you guys are getting now into karate combat. Something I have actually been following for quite some time now because it's honestly one of the coolest platforms, and I definitely think it's the future of how sports should be played. Because not only are you giving the fans an opportunity to actually win something and do something and interact with what's going on, but it's been amazing to actually get to see who the fighters are firsthand and then actually get to like learn a little bit more about them as you go, and then you kind of get to decide which ones you actually want to pick to fight, like, or actually win the fight, let's say. So from there, it's been actually like really cool. I've watched every single season or fight card so far, not really seasons. And it's been it's been a lot of crazy fights. Sometimes let's say the clinches haven't been as good as others, but I've honestly gotten to see the rules change as we go too, because Karate Combat has made it so that if you have coins and you're actually part of the community, your vote matters too. So it's definitely worth it to actually download the app, make sure that you're actually betting on as many fights as you can. And yes, it's crazy, but even if you lose, you're not actually losing, which is amazing. That's something I did not expect from a betting app. And honestly, to see Squid Grow supporting that, it definitely makes sense. It's honestly amazing. So congrats to you guys for making that kind of partnership. And I am actually really looking forward to going to a live event because I've not been able to attend one yet. But this is definitely going to be an eye opener for me because I'm really, really excited for this. My question for you guys though is, what have what does Squid Grow bring to Karate Combat, and how is that going to move forward? Like, are we going to see a Shibtoshi fight? Is that what's going to happen?
I can't answer that one.
Bruh, someone would throw a punch, and suddenly there's 5 bodyguards. Get him! Get him!
You put out a price, right, Chib?
Yeah, he
Well,
did.
say that one more time.
I said you put out a price how much it would cost for you to dox and actually get in the pit.
Yeah, I did. I couldn't tell you what that price was. I was in the moment.
I also will say to everybody that's listening to the space right now and that will be at the event or see us live, don't be alarmed. Shiv rolls deep and he wears a mask and he's got a very large entourage around him. So do not be off put by it at all. He's always willing to, talk with different community members about different things. So just as long as everyone's respectful, Shiv will, in most cases, talk to you and, talk about Squid Grow and all the cool things that we're doing. And of course, the awesome partnership between Squid Grow and Karate Combat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said a little earlier, I'm looking forward to working a little more closely with Only Larpin and KC. We were kind of flirting with the idea for a while and kind of slept on a couple opportunities. How it goes, we get a little busy and a little distracted. But now that we have that line of communication open and we've already took the first plunge at it, I think that we could see ourselves getting involved a little more in the future. So.
Yeah, we'd love that. And yes, of course, you're always welcome to fight, but it's definitely not required.
Well, I mean, I might just,
Wait.
I might just disappear from the room, and who knows, the next fight coming up, you never know.
I like that.
Keep everybody guessing.
One day, Action will get in there with me.
Oh, whoa.
Let's
No,
see.
don't
Gavin,
tease me like that. We're doing it in
Let's do it.
Singapore.
Gavin, Action. I don't know who I'd put my money on there. I think Action's pretty tough, but Gav, I think you'd have some ninja skills in the background there.
Action has that dad strength. Hard to combat.
It's a spirit.
We'll
It's a
see.
spiritual strength, the dad strength.
Human jungle gym, you know how it goes.
Pretty much. What's up, Lady Trader?
Hey, thank you so much. So I'm actually very excited to see this partnership. Karate Combat team, my community actually invested in your coin during the IDO on DAOmaker. And what a fantastic project, really. And so I'm super excited to see this partnership. And I would also add that if I was to pick like a list of projects that I think have a potential of being listed on Binance or Coinbase and actually become one of those mainstream altcoins, Karate Combat, definitely one of my top picks there. You guys have awesome backers and you've done a really great job there with your community and everything. And very, very excited to see, this partnership. And I wanted to actually find out more information about the partnership. Is this going to be like an ongoing collaboration for long term, or is it just going to be like maybe one or two basically events that you guys are going to be partnering on?
Well,
Are you referring to Squid Grow and KC, or?
Yeah.
I mean, like I was just saying a little earlier, like we've just pulled the trigger for the first go around, and we're in direct communication. So I mean, we'll see how it shakes out. But I'm open to the idea. I'm always looking for unique ways to give my community exposure, and I think this is one of those avenues.
That's amazing. And then also, I know that Karate Combat team have really, really good connections, right? Really, really good backers and lots of experienced advisors and all of that. So is there any plan of basically tapping into that network as well, just from the crypto marketing perspective, from the tokenization and everything?
That's not an avenue that we have explored currently with LARPing, but I'm sure if LARPing was willing to open up his channels to us, I'm sure we'd definitely utilize them.
Yeah, of
Perfect. Thank
course.
you.
We've been so busy getting all the stuff ready for the event. I don't know if we even had time to talk about anything like that, to be completely honest.
Wonderful. Thank you. I just wanted to say how excited I am for this partnership and all the best to everybody.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Hey, only about 8 minutes left here, but it's never too late for anybody, if you are in the space, to comment below what you're excited about here. Feel free to retweet it, hit it up. Make sure that you are following the speakers up here. Make sure you're following that Squid Grow account that's up here coasting with me, as well as check out everything that Only LARPing is doing. First time I believe you've been on a stage with me as well. I love the bio, by the way, Screen Time Olympian. I'm like a Spaces Olympian, so I can relate to you in this manner. Very cool stuff. Nix, what's up?
Oh yeah, I am not able to make it to the consensus this year. I know it's like super sad because I would have really loved to experience like my first fight with, with Karate Combat. But is there a way for people like me who aren't going to attend to participate
Oh, hell yeah.
and like cheering on Ellie and Ross?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think there's so many ways. I mean, first of all, very easy. You can watch the entire event for free on almost any platform you can possibly find, including Twitter. So there's no reason to miss a second of it. If you get a chance, go and download the Karate Combat app on iOS or Android. It'll come with a few free tokens. Feel free to buy some more, and you'll be able to vote on which fighters you think are going to win to earn additional tokens. And as was said before, the fighters that you are picking also benefit in that they get 10% of the pool. I think I heard Ellie was having a watch party or two. I know Ross is bringing a huge crowd to the event, but I'll let them chime in.
Yeah, I mean, I've always got a squad following me. I mean, my friends and family, they roll pretty good. It's not always that when you have people that I don't come from a huge family, but I do have a really great friend group, and these guys and girls support me to no end. So no matter when I fight and where I fight, I've always got people really bumping and yelling for me in the crowd. And of course, thank you guys for allowing me to do stuff like this and even grow my fandom a little bit more. So hopefully whoever's in this Twitter space, number one, if you guys are at the event and you get a chance to see me, I know sometimes I can look like I'm in the zone and I don't look approachable, but I promise you I am. Please come up to me and be like, hey, I was in the Twitter space. I heard you. We were talking a little bit. Please come up to me, say what's up. I'm happy to talk and chat and, get to know you guys as well. But yeah, hopefully things like this make it even louder for me. But, I try and I pride myself on just have a fighting style that's lovable no matter what. So whether you like me, don't like me, have seen me before or not, I think people like to cheer for me. So it's going to be nice and loud when I'm up there.
Got my support. You come on my space, you get my support. That's how it works. It's nice and easy. Action, what's up?
All right, Only LARPing. When am I gonna be able to put those 10 ETH on Ellie's fight? Because she's not up there yet. When is that getting updated?
Oh, that'll be updated soon. We had it pulled up, but then we pulled it down because it messed with the poker tournament thing. But the way the voting works, it's live for 48 hours before each event. So because it's not gambling, it's a little bit different. We built the whole thing off of Snapshot in the background. So what you want to make sure is that you have your karate tokens either in the app or in a compatible wallet 48 hours before the event, which is when the snapshot is. And then you can make your picks right after that. One cool thing is you can change your picks all the way up till a half hour before the event.
Yeah, I love
Very
the fact
nice.
that it goes all the way up to 30 minutes before, man. That's a huge win that that was passed.
Super fun. Okay, we are getting close to the top of the hour, so I'm going to run around, give some of our key speakers up here a chance for any other comments, thoughts, anything else like that they want to share with the crowd. Of course, make sure if you haven't yet, grab your pass to Karate Combat. Make sure you're following Squid Grow and the rest of these amazing speakers. I'm going to go to Ellie first. Ellie, any other messages, thoughts you'd like to share with our audience here and your passionate fans?
Honestly, more than anything, I just want to say thank you to everyone, to Squid Grow for adding me to your list and allowing me to be able to do this. So the sponsorship, and thanks to the community more than anything for all of your support through and through, for both the fighting, for the charity, for everything. Because Karate Combat wouldn't be possible without everyone, every one of you guys. So really appreciate it. And of course, thanks to Karate Combat for letting me be a part of this. This is a crazy opportunity, and I could not be more grateful.
It's going to be epic. I'm looking forward to it. And Ellie, your videos have been killing it on the timeline. Honestly, before I even knew who you were in the space, I was seeing your stuff coming up on the For You page. So you must be doing something right out there.
Thank you very much.
It was the
Absolutely.
engagement
Well,
announcement. I know it.
it's that work ethic.
You guys roasted him for so long. I saw him today, and he is red.
Ross, how about yourself? Anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah, well, first off, I really appreciate you guys having me, and I'm super pumped to be representing Squid Grow. The opportunity to, kind of wear you guys on my back and be one of the prime. I'm not sure. Am I the only fighter the only pro fighter Shib that's being
Yes, you
sponsored by you
are.
guys?
Yes, you are. So
There you go. Huge honor, and no extra pressure whatsoever. But I would say you picked a good one, so I'm definitely going to show up and show out in honor of you guys. Being there for not only for me, but also for the promotion of the sport. Anytime we get someone to come in and be a platinum sponsor, that's a huge deal, and it really really helps move the community forward. So thank you for that, and of course thank you for supporting me. And yeah, like I said, anybody that is going to be there live at the event, I'm going to do my best to make time and be around everybody. So if you have questions, if you see me, please say what's up. And then, cheer for me when I go knock this guy out. I'm really excited for that. And Ellie, really excited to meet you as well. I love what you said about what you're doing, and I'd love to talk more about that. So I'm looking forward to meeting everybody that I haven't already met, and I'll see you guys in Austin.
hey, Ross, thank you for your time, man, and thank you for the opportunity. I'm happy that we're on the same side. I'd hate to be on the opposing side of the ring with you.
Love it. Only LARPing. Anything else from you?
I just want to say thank you to Squid Grow team, community, Satoshi, Tina, Wendy, everybody for making this happen in a hurry. I mean, geez, we only started working on this a few weeks ago, and it turned into something really special. I can't wait to, partner for real in 1 week from tomorrow.
It's coming up faster than people would believe. Wendy, do you got a minute to say anything else for us on the stage? Anything else you're excited for? No worries if not.
Yeah, I just hope somebody from this space can come help me pack because I have like 3 events next week, and that's what I'm doing. But I'm just super excited to see everybody and get down there. And it's just the whole event is going to be fun. It's going to be so much community. It's going to be so much networking and fun. So if you're listening to the space and you're not going to the fight, that's okay. Go to the after events. You can get into most of them, and just come talk to people, network, and just have a good time. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be pretty epic. Okay, I'm going to turn over to Shibtoshi and give you final comment here, unless there's anyone else
Well,
you'd like to hear
actually,
from.
let's grab Tina real quick, and then I'll close
Tina,
it.
please.
Hey, I'm pumped, you guys. I'm pumped for Austin. We're going to have a lot of events. We got a lot going on. So make sure to, if you're interested to network, come to our event that we're hosting with Secret Network. Karate Combat is going to be amazing. I'm a huge fan. I actually became emotionally invested in Ross. When at his last fight, I was standing at his corner and I just loved the fight. So I'm looking forward to seeing him again in action. Ellie, I'm really looking forward to seeing you. I love the cause you're fighting for. So yeah, thank you for having us again, Wolf. And I can't wait to connect with everybody in Texas. So if you're there, please make sure to come say hi to us. Let's connect. Let's network. Thank you.
That's what the name of the game is, networking. Shibtoshi, you want to bring us home here?
All right, cool. Yeah, I don't really have anything I haven't said before. I'm just greatly appreciative to Wolf and the opportunity to host this space, to our fighters, Ross and Ellie, and also Jay Chains, who is not currently here, Wendy, Tina, to my community, Action, Kayla, everybody that took the time out of their day to jump on here. But before I close this down, I have a small update for the community that I just wanted to kind of throw out there. Not anything massive, but everybody knows that one of our newest applications, Silent Swap, has been an audit. And when the pre-audit report just recently came out, we were scored a 9 out of a 10, 10 being obviously a perfect score. So that's not really acceptable to me. So we went back, and I am happy to report that we have now achieved a perfect score with Hacken. We are now scored a 10. And so, yeah, so just got to make sure that, our applications that we are building and we put out to the masses are safe and secure. And I can now hang my hat up and say that we have achieved that. So happy to report that. Thanks everybody for the time, and looking forward to the next space.
I know it's your
Yes, and
space, Wolf, but man. Sorry, I had to.
no, you're good. But speaking of next space, we actually have a massive space that we're doing tomorrow in collaboration with my good friend Jordan on his link. We're going to roll in with a big Web2 crowd that we're going to be pulling into this because they also all love fighting as well. And so it is going to be a fun time. That is going to be coming up at 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. All fighters are welcome. We're probably going to roll into that with several hundred people in the space. So get ready for it. All that coming up tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you to everyone that spent their time with us today on Spaces. I'm looking forward to doing it again tomorrow. And by the way, prior to that 2 p.m. Eastern space, of course, we'll have our X Spaces crew at 12 p.m. Eastern. You can catch most of this panel on that as we talk about what is going on around X. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening. Looking forward to seeing everybody next week in Austin.